Hello, dear students and viewers. Today we'll discuss a very important topic of modern Indian history, communalism, right? So, communalism is not just important, but it is also very complex and confusing. So, immediately one question will come in your mind, confusing? Really? Okay, let's see. See, this topic has become confusing because of these two point of views or these two issues. Okay, example number one. Communalism was not present in medieval times. Okay, is it true? So, what about Aurangzeb? Let's see example number two. Communalism is simply the entry of religion into politics. Is this statement true? We'll examine these two statements. Okay, so even teachers get confused in this topic, right? So, in order to deal with this topic holistically, right, first we need to understand the meaning of the term communalism. Okay, so, communalism or communal ideology is a belief that all those who have a common religion also have common secular interests and identities. Okay, secular interests here means interests which are other than religious, like political, social, economic, and cultural. So, we'll try to understand this by taking two examples, right? Example number one and example number two. So, person A and person B. Person A is a Bengali Muslim male zamindar, right? Person B is a Punjabi Muslim female agricultural labor. So we can clearly see that these two persons have only one common identity, that is the religious identity. Okay, so human beings are multifaceted and can have multiple identities at the same time. These identities could be based on their occupation, country, region, religion, gender, and so on. But a communalist will choose among these diverse range of identities only the religious identity and will emphasize on it out of proportions. Okay, let's take one example, dear students. So, if we observe carefully, we can clearly come to the conclusion that the communal propaganda, okay, which overemphasizes on the religious identity, is based on the wrong understanding of interests, right? But in a communally charged environment, where is the room for logic? Isn't it? This is what happened in 1947. For instance, soon after the partition of India, the East Pakistan or the Bengali Muslims realized their mistake when Urdu was imposed on them in 1948. They had to pay a heavy price for their emotional decision and were only able to liberate themselves in 1971. Right, dear students? Let's move ahead. So now we'll examine the two examples. Medieval India. Okay, example number one. So, according to political scientists and historians, dear viewers, in medieval India, okay, we can't use the term communal. We have to use the term bigot. Okay, bigot means a fanatic and not communal because these two terms, communalism as well as nationalism, are to be used in the context of modern India, right? And usually we do not use these terms before 19th century. So Aurangzeb was a bigot. Firoz Shah Tughlaq, for that matter, was a bigot. We cannot call him communal, right? Because the nature of medieval Indian politics, or for that matter, ancient Indian politics, was quite different, right? The participation of masses in politics was almost absent in medieval India. This is according to political scientists and historians. And in the upper class or elite based pre modern politics, the masses were ignored. Okay, sometimes the masses used to rebel against the state authorities in some regions. For instance, in the Deccan region in the second half of 17th century, we see a conflict Aurangzeb versus the Marathas. So, what happened in this context, dear students, that the leaders of this movement, okay, the Maratha Sardars, were incorporated in large numbers in the nobility of Aurangzeb. Okay, so what happened? These leaders became the new ruling elites and the politics continued as usual. The elite nature of politics continued, right? So, this is what we see in medieval India and ancient India. Okay, now let's move ahead. Let's look at the second example. So, communalism is not simply the entry of religion into politics. So, we'll examine this statement, right? Meaning, Maulana Azad and Mahatma Gandhi are two very significant examples to understand this line. Both these leaders were deeply religious, but they were not communal. Okay, dear students. So, a communal leader will try to mobilize masses of a particular community or religion on the basis of the notion that our belief alone is true and the rest is untrue or incomplete. I hope some minds will flick in your mind. Please mention some names in the comment box. Okay, dear students. So, I hope you got the meaning of these two statements. Let's move ahead, dear students. So, this is a big topic, and I have divided this topic into 8 different sections: meaning of communalism, components of communalism, some factors which played important role in facilitating communalism in India. Okay, here we'll see the role of social religious reform movements and the role played by British Indian government. Then rise and growth of communalism in India, right? Communalism in India started after the second half of 19th century, right? Then demand of a separate state and the creation of Pakistan, Congress and partition of India, Gandhiji and partition of India, views of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar on the creation of Pakistan. Dear students, I have prepared this topic from a variety of sources. Okay, so I've referred to these 7 sources. Okay, this is not for UPSC aspirants, right? So, before we end this video, I'll give you one very significant example from the book by Mr. Venkat Dhulipala, Creating a New Medina, which was published by Cambridge University Press in 2015. Mr. Venkat Dhulipala is the professor of South Asian Studies at the University of North Carolina, USA. So, the central theme of this book, dear students, is that the idea of Pakistan was not something which was vaguely imagined by leaders like Muhammad Ali Jinnah or Muhammad Iqbal, or for that matter, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Okay, he said that this idea was widely debated and discussed among a significant portion of the Muslim ulemas. So now the question comes, who are the ulemas? So ulemas are the priestly class of Muslims. Okay, these are the people who teach in madrasas, who lead the prayers in mosques. Okay, they perform functions like nikah. Okay, and then funeral prayers. So these people have a very good hold over the Muslim population. So, in this context, a very significant person is Maulana Shabbir Ahmad Usmani. Okay, he came out with this concept of New Medina, which Mr. Venkat Dhulipala has emphasized in his book. So, let's see this. What is the meaning? So, Maulana Shabbir Ahmad Usmani, okay, he was born in the United Provinces of British India in a very respectable family, and he was a Urdu speaking Devbandi ulema. In the 1940s, he decided to go to the side of Muslim League and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and he, along with 500 ulemas, went to the side of Muslim League. Right, dear students? And he was a very significant figure because he was the first significant ulema to demand that Pakistan should become an Islamic state and not just a Muslim majority state. What is the difference? Difference is that there are many Muslim majority states. It means where the majority population professes the faith Islam, but they are not completely ruled on the basis of Islamic law or Sharia, right? There are a large number of secular laws also. Whereas an Islamic state is such a state where all the laws are on the basis of the Islamic Shariat, right, dear students? And he was the one who hoisted the flag of an independent Pakistan, the western part, in Karachi, which was the initial capital of Pakistan, in the presence of Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Okay, and he was the one who led the funeral prayers of Muhammad Ali Jinnah in 1948. So now let's see the central idea of this book. Very interesting. Okay, so he said that the Prophet of Islam created the first Islamic polity, Medina, in Arabia 1300 years ago. And now the Muslims of Indian subcontinent have this golden opportunity to create a new Medina or a second Pakistan, because the first Pakistan was created by the Holy Prophet of Islam. The literal meaning of the term Pakistan is the land of the pure, right? So the Muslims of Indian subcontinent will create a second Medina, a new Medina or a second Pakistan, right, dear students? Now, people used to frequently ask Mr. Usmani that Maulana Sahab, who will be the leader of the new proposed Pakistan? Because many Muslims were well aware of the westernized lifestyle of Mr. Jinnah. Like he used to drink whiskey, okay, wear westernized suits, speak English. So, in order to deal with this issue, he came out with a brilliant metaphor, okay, really brilliant. So, he said that when Muslims of Indian subcontinent go to perform Hajj in the holy land of Hijaz, Saudi Arabia, they go on ships which are navigated by English captains, right? But once the ship reaches the vicinity of the port of Jeddah, a local Arab pilot comes in his small boat and boards the ship, and the English captain gives the driving wheel to the local Arab pilot. Why? Because the region around the port of Jeddah is very treacherous and has a large number of underwater sandbars and underwater rocks, which the English captain is unable to navigate. Right? So he said that Mr. Jinnah is like that English captain. He can only take us that far. But once Pakistan is created, the Muslim ulemas will take over and will make sure that Pakistan becomes an Islamic state. Right, dear students? So, dear students, we'll discuss this topic holistically. Mr. Bipin Chandra has identified three stages of communalism in India, that is identity consciousness, then liberal or moderate communalism, then extreme communalism. Then we'll also discuss for the previous UPSC question papers. Okay, like in 2019, this question was asked. This is also related to this topic, and some practice questions I've prepared from my side, like this: what is the meaning of communalism in the context of pre-independence India? Discuss its progress from 1909 to 1947, right? Similarly, these four practice questions, and we'll also discuss, dear students, the views of Dr. Ambedkar on creation of Pakistan. This UPSC has not touched till now. So I'm quite sure that in the coming years, many questions will come from this area. So that's it for today, dear viewers. We'll very soon meet in the next video. Okay, dear students, that's it for today.